Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Topo here, and today I have an interesting story time for you guys, to say the least. Now, before I get into the story, I would just like to say thank you to everyone stopping by. This is my first ever video on this channel where I'm going to do story times like this. So if you guys enjoy, please make sure to drop a like or a comment if you guys want to keep seeing these types of videos. Alright, now into the story time. So this story takes place at my house. My parents were going to be out all night because they were going to some kind of restaurant dinner for a birthday party. And my close family friend, for the purposes of this video, let's just call him Alex. Alex calls me and tells me that his parents are also going to be out all night at this dinner. And we thought it would be a good idea if he just slept over since, our parents would both be together. Long story short, our parents end up saying yes to the sleepover, so we're like, alright, dope. We have the whole house to ourselves, we can chill in the basement and watch a movie. We just knew we were going to have a good time that night. So he comes over and we wait a little bit for our parents to leave. And at that point, we were just chilling, hanging out in the basement, watching videos and talking or whatnot. And as we're talking, I remember that I still had like a little bit of weed left in my grinder, like just enough for a joint. And keep in mind, this is when I used to smoke a lot, so I was pretty much always stoned and built up a tolerance to that kind of stuff. Now, my friend, on the other hand, has only done it like once or twice. The first time he did it with me, he ended up smoking a little bit with my friends and kind of freaking out about it. Like, he just got super zoned out and thought he was going to green out. But despite that, I thought it would be funny to get high with this kid who hasn't had his fair share of experience. So I call Alex over to my room. I'm like, yo, come in here real quick. And he's just like, oh, God. Because he knows that's going to be something crazy. And I pull out my little grinder with the weed in it. And I'm like, I think you know what time it is. And he gives me like this weird, nervous look. And he just says, fuck it, let's smoke up. So I'm like, fuck yeah, it's about to be an awesome night. My parents are out. We can get as high as we want. So I get straight to rolling. Like I'm excited. And I finish packing this raw cone I had, and we sneak out through the garage and we start sparking up on my patio. Now, my friend goes, look, I don't really smoke that much, so I'm not going to take that many hits. And I probably shouldn't have said this because it's kind of fucked. Like, I was basically peer pressuring him, but I'm like, nah. If we're doing this, we're going all the way. Like, we're going to smoke this entire joint, me and you. And he just says, fuck it, let's go. So as we're smoking this, we're pretty much almost done with the joint. And I asked him if he wanted to play Chicago with the Roach. Now, for those of you that don't know, Chicago is basically a game where you have to take a hit and hold it in until the joint gets back to you in rotation. So basically, once the other person takes a hit and gives you the joint, you can let the air out and take another hit. And he says yes because he said he wasn't really feeling the effects and it wasn't hitting him. So whatever, we end up playing Chicago for like 6 rounds. After that, he was done, I was done. We just threw the roach out since there was barely anything in there anyway. And we go back inside. And I kid you not, 5 seconds later, after we go inside, this kid starts tweaking. Like, he starts laughing uncontrollably and yelling uncontrollably. And at this point, it's like 1 a.m. And my little brother was sleeping upstairs in his room. So I'm like, yo, shut the fuck up. What are you doing? And he just keeps laughing and says, stop tickling me. He's like rolling around on the floor and shit like he's on some kind of crack. And he just keeps saying he's getting tickled. And at this point, I don't want my brother waking up and coming down here and just seeing us high as fuck. So I tell him to stop yelling. And he just lays down on my couch out of breath. I'm like, I thought you said you weren't feeling it, huh? He's like, man, that game of Chicago fucked me up. And we're just both laughing at this point, just dying laughing because probably of how high we were. But then he starts turning really pale. And I remember him saying, oh no, I don't feel so good. And walking into the bathroom. Now, at this point, I just knew what was coming. And as soon as I asked him if he's good, I just hear noises of puking. So I'm just thinking, great, this is not what I envisioned tonight. But whatever, it happens. I've been there. At this point, he's still throwing up, so I just go upstairs and grab some munchies. I just kind of do my own thing, listen to music and wait for him to feel better. Get him some water and kind of give him some space so, he can take care of that shit. And I check up on him in like 40 minutes and he's just sitting on the toilet, butt ass naked, crying with his face buried into his hands. Now I'm thinking like, what the fuck? Like, is he good? I just start asking him like, Alex, you good, bro? Yo, Alex, you good? What's wrong? And he just looks at me with tears and he's fucking laughing. He's laughing so hard I thought he was crying. And I'm wondering what the fuck could possibly be so funny right now that this man is crying on my toilet, butt ass naked, keep in mind. And he just said he had to take a shit, but he farted and it made a weird noise. And so he couldn't stop laughing just because of how cracked off his mind he was. Meanwhile, I thought I was going to have to like call the ambulance because I thought this kid was having a full-blown panic attack. Anyways, he puts his fucking clothes on, thank God, and lays down on my couch, and I give him some snacks and play some music, and he finally starts to calm down. And I'm just glad he's feeling better because I know it's a shitty feeling to green out, like trust me, I've been there before. But I thought I was gonna have to like call 911 or something because this kid did not look good at all. But, you know, thank God the situation turned out better than I expected. So it's like 3 a.m. and Alex ends up going to sleep. But, you know, I'm not really that tired. And if you guys think the story time ends here, then boy, you are wrong because I decided to make another yet stupid decision. So I remembered that I still had a tab of LSD in my wallet. And I was surprised my parents weren't still home because it was kind of late. But my dumbass thought it was a perfect opportunity to trip balls while this kid was sleeping at my house. And being the dumb idiot that I am, I grabbed the tab and without even thinking, I just take it. I put the little paper of acid on it on my tongue. And because this was also when I used to do a lot of psychedelics, I knew I wouldn't really have a bad trip. But I kid you not, 10 minutes after letting it dissolve on my tongue, I get the biggest feeling of regret. Because one, I started feeling tired. I don't know if you guys know this, but LSD lasts a while. Like I think it's up to 6 hours. And two, I started getting so bored that I didn't feel like tripping for that long without being able to really do anything besides go on my phone. So at this point, I'm like, fuck. I can either pull an all-nighter and just ride this trip out, which is probably going to last until the morning, or I can try to go to sleep before the effects hit me. And you know what I did? I chose the second option. I was not going to stay awake all night on acid, like what was I thinking? So I tried falling asleep and thank God it didn't really hit me before I fell asleep because once it hits you, you're pretty much forced to stay awake, like your mind will not let you fall asleep while you're on psychedelics. And I remember having like some small closed-eyed visuals, but other than that, I slept it off, woke up with a small headache, but I'm pretty sure since I was asleep, the drug didn't really affect me at all. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up this story time. I hope you guys enjoyed. I have a bunch of other crazier stories to tell you guys that I'm saving for when this channel picks up. So if you guys want to hear those, then stay tuned. But yeah, other than that, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace, yo, bye.
How can I be homophobic? My bitch is gay. Hitman in a top try, see a man topless, even a stick is gay. Hugging my brothers and say that I love them, but I don't swing that way. The man them celebrate Eid, the trap still running on Christmas Day.